All right, we're back. I played like a whole bunch of different things there right now. So we have a lot going on in the radio show tonight. Montgomery Streets are here. We're gonna bring them on air in just a few moments, and that's going to be really exciting. But in the meantime, I got a copy of their album, and I have to say it's one of the most creative ways that I've ever gotten an album here on the radio show. And it's this awesome bracelet with a USB drive, and I'm really excited about it. And I know that you're all very jealous that you don't have one, but guess what? I bet you can get one. All right, they're here. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
How are you guys? Thanks for coming down. You drove all the way from Brooklyn.
Did, yeah.
80 miles an hour.
80? Let's not talk about that.
You mean 65 miles?
I mean 65 were noted.
Our mothers are listening.
Are they?
I don't know.
Hi, moms. If you are, I really did mean 65-ish.
Yeah.
But you made it. Thanks for coming down. I was just saying, I was just in Brooklyn last weekend for the Duck Down Barbecue. I was in Flatbush.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was very fun, very exciting stuff. And now you guys are here. And I know you have a bunch of shows. You have a couple of shows coming up in Philly, right?
Yeah. Well, we're actually tonight we're playing Aztec.
Right.
In Seaside at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. If you are in that area, head on over to the Aztec. I love that spot. I'm kind of jealous. I won't be able to go tonight, but yeah.
They're doing a all summer, every Wednesday acoustic music.
That's pretty awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great little spot. Are you going to be by the pool? Or are you going to be inside?
I think we're going to be inside. I mean, I hope we're going to be by the pool.
Either way, it's awesome.
In the pool? Maybe?
In the pool? That would even be great. Can we make that happen at some point? Yeah. A floating stage. Listen, we can really be onto something here. I kind of love that idea.
You have to stop playing. That's the end of your set.
Well, yeah. We wouldn't be able to use electric instruments, though, would we? No, that wouldn't work.
I wouldn't want to use my guitar either.
Yeah. You wouldn't want it to get wet, right? We could get you a floaty one. Do air guitar. That would be fun, right?
Yeah.
What else do you have coming up in Philly?
So next week on the 27th at 8 o'clock, we are at Finnegan's Wake.
That's next.
Awesome.
That's next week.
Next week, you'll be back down here again, doing 65, of course.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Following
Following
the speed limit.
the speed limit. And do you have another? I thought there was another one coming up in Philly, but I could be wrong.
End of August,
End
we
of
have,
August, we're in Philly again.
we're back at Lickety Split.
At Lickety Split, which is on South Street.
Yeah.
So awesome. So all great venues. And it's kind of neat that you're coming down to Philly for a little bit from Brooklyn. Have you played in Philly before?
We have. So we've played Lickety Split a couple times, and then we played the South Street Spring Festival.
Oh, you did?
We were there for that. We played a couple
This year?
Yeah, we played a couple sets on the street.
I had no idea you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, so you know what? I'm going to actually, so everybody knows who they're talking to. If you guys just want to introduce yourself, say your name so everybody know who's who.
Sure,
out
I'm
there.
Brian, the lead singer of Montgomery Streets.
And I'm Anthony, guitarist, not the lead singer of Montgomery Streets.
we have this ongoing joke that Anthony doesn't know any of the lyrics to our songs, which is funny because he sings a lot, but it's all
Right.
muscle memory.
Really?
My mouth just moves and I blow.
If I turn around afterwards and ask him, now what was that song about, Anthony?
You have no
He'd
idea.
say Hot Wheels.
We do sometimes have to do that when we're rehearsing. Well, it'll be a song we've been playing for a year straight, and I'll be like, so what is this really about?
What's this really about?
You just don't know. But you could tell every chord progression in the song, right?
Exactly.
Like, right?
And then I go, Anthony, I have to play harmonica on this song. What key is it in?
So this is really weird because I didn't know you guys were at the Spring Festival, which is, I live on South Street, so it's
okay.
kind of one of my most favorite days of the year down there. And a lot of great bands get to perform.
Yeah.
But then the first time I actually encountered you with you guys was at the South Street, or the Jersey Shore
Yeah, Jersey
Festival.
Yeah.
Which was back in, when was that? Like May, June, May, April?
I think it was April.
guy.
April?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a couple months ago. So that's the first time that I had seen you, and this is actually how it happened because I didn't really talk to you that night.
No.
We caught up on Facebook or something after the fact.
Yeah.
But my fiance and I, Chelly, were down there. It was torrential downpours. I've told this story on the radio show a couple times. It was like really gross out. And we were starving because we had driven and got caught in traffic. And we were at the Aztec, but they didn't have food.
Yeah.
So we wandered down the boardwalk and we were trying to find something that was open. And it happened, I heard this music. And we went in and it was you guys that were on stage.
Nice.
And so we sat there and we ate. And we were like... I have to be honest with you, and I'm not kissing your ass because you're in front of me right now. I've been in the music industry for many, many years. It is very rare that I kind of like do a double take to go listen to somebody, but that's actually what we did when we went and we saw you guys. Both of us really loved it, and I had immediately got on Instagram and sent out a picture of you guys and talked about it. but just really impressed. And you at the time you also had somebody on bass.
Yeah, Jack, our buddy Jack Breslin plays upright bass with us sometimes. He's really great. He's a lot of fun to play with.
And it was just a really great, and even though it was kind of like pouring and like a crummy night, we felt like we stumbled upon some really great music, and it really made us happy. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and then
for coming in and listening.
We got to catch up later, and it was really awesome. And it's just ironic that you had been in Philly, and I didn't know. So you never know where you're going to run into somebody. Yeah. It took me to go to Central Jersey.
You never know who's going to be in the audience too. I mean, any musician can relate to taking a 4-hour drive in the pouring rain down to a show, and then we were excited about playing on the boardwalk, but in the rain, maybe not as many people showing up.
Right.
And you think, oh well, we all that driving, all that work to come down and play in front of a handful of people, but
I think that almost motivates us more. It's like, well, we just drove 4 hours, let's just play our faces off.
Play your faces off. And it just was such a pleasant sound. I remember thinking, like, your voice is so mellow and melodic. Like, it was just a beautiful sound. And there was a couple people in the room that I felt like everybody that was listening was really paying attention, and that's very rare that it happens. And there was I want to say 4 bands that entire weekend that I did the double take for, that I got really excited about. You guys were one of them. Black Dirty was another. Midnight Mob, who's also from New York, who are like a little bit more metal, and Pasadena, who's from Maryland, who are a little bit folky. You guys, I was just so impressed. I came back feeling inspired, and that doesn't always happen because it's 10 years in, you just get tired. You just want new. You want to find something that inspires you and makes you new. So thank you. That's my story. So I was glad that I got to run into you guys. But I want to give everybody an opportunity to hear you as well, so we can talk more about the music, the album that you have out now, kind of what your creative process is, what the plans are, all that good stuff.
Sounds good.
So what do you think, I mean, if you had to pick that one song that kind of said, this is the introduction to Montgomery Streets. Is it Damn Girl? Is that
I mean, I think it's probably Change.
Yeah, probably.
The song that people always start cheering when we start playing, so.
Is Change.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play that. And this is off the album, which is called Damn Girl, correct? Yeah. When did the album come out officially?
The album came out in the beginning of December.
Beginning of December.
Yeah.
So it's not that old.
No, not that old. No.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and play Change. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm here now just to move. Our lives are passing you by. At the time I'm 25. In the pictures I'm that older guy. I'll push myself, I know. I'll sink before I let you go. Get your coat, why don't we finish this tomorrow in the sober light of day? You're always looking for something else. When you know we have it. For love, for fun, for endless well. When you know we have it. You're always looking for something new. When you know we have it. Cutest girl to ever sing the blues. When you know we have looking for change, but it don't come. You need much more than I've got in me. For change, but it don't come. What I need is summed up simply. Change, but it don't come. A girl to love, a place to rest my change, but it don't come. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. I'm here now just for show. At least I go with your new clothes. Should I stay? Should I tell you that it's over? Or do you already know? I tried with all my heart, but we both knew from the very start what this was. Don't be mad because you're still who you were and I'm who I was. You're always looking for something else. When you know we have it. For love, for fun, for endless well. When you know we have it. Always looking for something new. When you know we have, when you know we have it. Cutest girl to ever seen. When you know we have, when you know we looking for change, but it don't come. You need much more than I've got in me. For change, but it don't come. What I need is some depth, simply change, but it don't come. A girl to love, a place to rest my change, but it don't come. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. And everyone knows I'm lazy, and that you got legs for days. Don't care if they think I'm crazy. Last thing I needed was more of the same thing. I tried with all my luck to be cool and to keep up with your love, but the truth is you're so restless and I'm tired of pleasing you. I'm looking for change, but it don't come. You need much more than I've got in me. Change, but it don't come. What I need is some depth, simply change, but it don't come. A girl to love, a place to rest my change, but it don't come. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead. The ground beneath my feet, the sun overhead, overhead. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
A little taste of Montgomery Streets there. That song was called Change. Again, that's off the album Damn Girl, which I'm wearing on my wrist right now. I'm really like digging these bracelets. I think it's so brilliant that you it really is great, because you had made a really valid point before that of, you know, people get a CD, they bring it home, it lands in their car, the floor of their car or whatever, and that's it. So, all right, let's talk about the album a little bit. You said it came out in the beginning of December, correct? Was this the first album as Montgomery Streets?
Yes, first album is Montgomery Streets.
Okay, but you had done music before together.
We were in a band in the early to mid 2000s called the Vinyl Addicts.
Okay.
It was a piano rock band.
Very cool.
A good friend of mine from high school named Benny Gammerman was a piano player. We had been writing together for a while. I ended up going to Fordham University.
I do know Fordham.
In New York. And
that is where Vince Lombardi went.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of the, it's a big sports school. A lot of the guys from ESPN that are on the radio and on TV all went through Fordham.
I used to, total side note, was obsessed with Vince Lombardi from a leadership standpoint, management. I had read so much stuff about him. So it's just one of those random facts that I'm proud to know that he went to Fordham. But go on.
Inspirational quote on the whiteboard.
Yeah, I know. You should
exactly.
have it on there. Run to daylight. That was his big quote.
Run to daylight? That was his thing?
Yeah. And if anybody wants to know where that came from, it's because when he switched from college, I can't even believe I know this, from college to the NFL, he was a very different way of getting people to score a touchdown. So he had to tell the people in the NFL that they just had to break through the crowd, search for the daylight, and run towards that.
Okay, interesting.
That's my little educational tidbit for the day. You're welcome.
Next up on ESPN Radio.
Right, next up, right. I'm switching genres for just a moment. Just a moment. All right, so Fordham University.
So I was going to Fordham, and Benny was going to NYU at the time. And I
was going to NYU with him.
And he was going to NYU as well.
And we were we were looking for a bassist, so we brought Anthony on actually to play bass.
Okay.
There was no guitar in that band. It was piano, bass, drums, vocals.
Very cool.
So we did that for a while throughout college, which was a lot of fun, when you're in college and you have very little responsibility.
Yes.
So that was
the good old days.
That was great.
Yeah.
When we graduated, Benny wanted to go in a different route, more of a musical theater composition route.
Okay.
So we split up, and Anthony and I started kind of writing together more as like a hobby, just as something to do.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to stop playing.
We didn't want to stop playing, so for a couple of years it was just very sporadic, and then last year, at the beginning of last year, was when we really started putting a focusing on it. Bringing in new musicians and trying out different arrangements. It's something that we like to do. We play sometimes as a duo, sometimes as a trio with Jack, the bass player.
Yep.
We also have a couple of friends, 3 girls, Alexis, Katie, and Amber, that sing backing vocals for us sometimes.
Very cool.
So yeah, depending on the show a friend of ours, Ryan, sometimes will come and play cajon. We get some percussion. So depending on the show or where it is or the vibe, we just like to change it up as often as we can.
You're expandable.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
will.
Yeah.
So tonight you're just doing the duo set. Acoustic.
Yeah. It's an acoustic singer-songwriter series at the Aztec. So we are going down there as a duo, which is always fun.
How would you describe the sound of your music? I know that everyone hates this question.
It's hard. It is hard. The most common thing we get is folk pop.
Yeah.
I guess. Singer-songwriter definitely. I mean, I grew up on listening to a lot of Ryan Adams, not Brian Adams. But
Ryan Adams.
Ryan Adams.
We do have to clarify that.
You do. Ben Harper, Ben Folds.
Yep.
Damian Rice. So I was always very lyrically driven.
It's so funny because I'm the exact opposite. I grew up in Central Jersey, listened to punk music and
really.
I was in metal bands in high school.
Were you really? So was I.
Yeah, playing Misfits, Metallica.
That's awesome.
Smashing Pumpkins, Green. And it's so funny because the music we play is none of that at all. You know?
It isn't anything like that. I actually had a very difficult time trying to say who you sounded like.
Yeah.
When I was writing the article, and I kind of it was 3 or 4 bands that I needed to mush together to kind of get, because immediately I thought Bare Naked Ladies. That was my first kind of
which is funny because neither of us listened to Bare Naked Ladies
really?
growing up. Yeah.
Did you after that statement? Did you
I mean, I know of them obviously. And
we only bought 4 or 5 albums after that.
I don't know why. But that was Chelly and I. Chelly's my fiance who was there with me. That was kind of our initial. We also said Ben Harper because huge fans of Ben, and I could definitely hear that influence of Ben Harper. And do you listen to Ray LaMontagne at all?
Yes.
Do you love Ray?
I get a lot of Ray LaMontagne.
Yeah.
He's my number 1 favorite artist in the world, which is probably why I like you all too, because I felt like I heard some of that. I just saw him in concert again last weekend.
Yeah. Oh, really? Where'd you see him?
I saw him in Camden at the
nice.
big. He was at a big venue.
Yes, he's not with the Pariah Dogs anymore, is he?
No, he was with the Bell Brigade.
Okay.
And they were a brother and sister team.
Nice.
She plays drums. The brother plays guitar and keyboard, and then there were 2 other folks that were in the group with him. But he did all of his new stuff. Very little old stuff. All the Supernova tracks.
I haven't listened to Supernova yet.
It is quite different.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he likes to change it up, which I appreciate that.
And psychedelic.
Interesting. Yeah. No. It definitely. Yeah. It's a little more funky, right?
It is a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if I love it yet. I'm not sold on it 100% yet. I have to listen to all the albums a few more times just to
What's your favorite?
My favorite, a song or album?
Album.
His very first one is my favorite.
What was the name of that one again?
The one with Trouble.
Trouble. Right. Yeah.
Because Jolene was the song that in 2004 I heard on I totally remember this. CBS News on Sunday morning always did the artist to look for that week.
Right.
And he was one of them, and I was like, oh, I like this song. I'm going to go buy the album. And then I just became obsessed, with him. But I definitely heard that influence. Definitely could hear Ben.
I didn't, it's always interesting when you kind of discover an artist, the first album you discover by them tends to be
the sound.
Your favorite.
Well, yeah, that's the So I came into Ray LaMontagne with Till the Sun Turns Black, which I just think is it's one of those front to back albums where you could just put it on. It's you don't skip to a track, you just start it and just let it go. I really love that album.
Yeah, that is also a great album. And I think that with music too, just like you said, the first album you hear, sometimes you're drawn to it on almost a subconscious level. Like you need to hear that music at that point in your life because it makes
absolutely.
sense. Had you listened to it at another point in your life, you may not have appreciated and or liked it as much.
Yeah, or when you listen to an album and you remember a very specific time or place in your life.
Yes.
You know?
Well, that's
like
right.
The Killers' Hot Fuss was just this one very specific summer for me. Working at an Italian restaurant in Huntington. I grew up in Huntington, Long Island.
Okay.
But just driving the car to and from work and hot fuss in the car. It's just like whenever I hear anything from that album, I'm just in that Jeep with the windows down. You know?
And you just are back to that moment. And it's a happy place.
Yeah.
And mine is also Ray's first album. It was actually driving. It's ironic that you say that. I had a little red Pontiac Sunfire, and I would get like my pumpkin spice latte because it was the fall, and I would drive through the back roads of Lancaster County, and then I have this like very pleasant memory of it. Now, you had mentioned you grew up in Central Jersey, right? Which part?
Jackson.
I don't
just
know.
Six Flags.
Oh yeah.
There's two things
you
you
should
use.
Born at Six Flags.
Yeah, it's actually the largest town in New Jersey.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's insane. And when did you end up going to New York? Was that for college?
College, yeah.
So you all met then in college, correct?
Yeah.
So what the evolution of to get to Montgomery Streets? What was that? You know, you decided that you wanted to continue playing after the band kind of went different ways.
I mean, we're playing more as a hobby, and you know, we just started getting older and, you know, started having more interest and decided that, you know, if we weren't taking it 100% seriously, then it was kind of a waste of time.
Right.
There's also a motivating factor. It's like you put all this time into writing music, you put all this time into rehearsing and getting something sounding good, and then you don't play a show, and it's kind of like, okay, why am I doing all this? And then when you get in front of people, and it's like, you know, there could literally be one person there, and if somebody is remotely interested, you're like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah, you just remember how good it feels.
I would I'm not an artist. I used to do stuff back in the day. It's been a really long time, but I would imagine that feeling of being able to kind of like connect with somebody.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you and I could be wrong, but I think most people when they create music, it's really a vulnerable place to be. You are who does the writing in Montgomery Streets?
We usually will start with, and this is why it's so interesting that we have different musical styles. I usually start with an idea from a lyrical standpoint. I usually have a melody in mind for it. Sometimes it'll be a whole song. Sometimes I'll just have a verse or a chorus or a hook. And I'll bring it to Anthony, and he'll come up with a guitar part. And usually the guitar part is unlike anything I had in my head or could have imagined.
Right.
Just because he doesn't listen to that style of music. And we've always had this debate on whether or not I should give him Ryan Adams songs to listen to or Ben Harper songs, whether he should listen to that style or whether it's better that he doesn't.
That's interesting.
And I like it. I like the fact that he doesn't.
You haven't yet? You're not secretly listening to it at home? One or two songs.
I've been too busy listening to Bare Naked Ladies.
Well, the last couple of weeks,
I'll send you some help.
Okay, good.
So, but that's true because you don't want to. The influence is kind of like natural right now, right?
Yeah. But I like that. I like that it's not typical. I want him to come up with something a little bit outside of the box.
Yeah.
I don't know, we use it back and forth. It's like we'll get to a certain point in a song where we have a verse sounding good, and it's like, where does the chorus go? And sometimes it gets really abstract, and we say the verse is tiny, let's make the chorus big.
Right.
Or we go stylistically, oh, this sounds like an R&B song. So what would you do in an R&B song? And the fact that we're not an R&B band means it's never going to be an R&B song. But you know, we can kind of take elements from different styles and use them in our songs. So,
although I'm not gonna lie, if you guys like rocked out to an R. Kelly song or something on stage, that would be pretty awesome. I think if you
we may or may not have a Kanye West cover.
Shut up! Do you? Which one?
Runaway.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's got to be amazing.
It's great. We started off with a lot of backing vocals and harmonica. You don't know what song it is until the first line comes in, which
very cool.
Which always shocks people.
So this is something that you do live, right? This is like a live surprise.
Yeah.
I love when a band does a cover that everybody knows because I feel like it engages the crowd enough to get them to listen to the rest of the stuff. I am all for doing that.
Yeah.
Let's go into another track. So again, we give some people, a chance to hear some more of your music. What's the next one that I should play?
Let's do Damn Girl.
Damn Girl?
Yeah.
All right. Again, Montgomery Streets. They can get your album online.
Absolutely. It's on iTunes.
On iTunes. So easy to spell, too, Montgomery Streets. You can't really screw that up. Go buy the album immediately because it's pretty damn awesome. We're going to listen to Damn Girl. We'll be back in just a moment.
My mistake was letting on. I would break if you were gone. Well, you played me, hey baby, you feel like a stranger. But the moment I let my guard down, well, you took your gloves off to your sister. Your mistake was being fine, screwing up to pass the time. And as soon as the going got tough, I got high. By the time I came down, you were fucking some other guy. We burned so damn bright, so damn fast. Damn girl, it was hot while it lasted. And we both know where the highest highs lead. How could something that feels so good be so damn bad for me? I was right, you left, I broke. But hell, that's not what hurt the most. After so many years hiding just you and me, look how quickly you dragged down another to commiserate with shamelessly. Pretty girl with dirty thoughts, fair share of licks, you took your shots. Well, 'cause you've had it rough, you feel beaten and drained, but the scripts work enough, you don't have to feel anything. The scripts work enough, you don't have to feel anything. We burn so damn bright, so damn fast. And damn girl, it was hot while it lasted. And we both know where the highest highs lead. How could something that feels so good be so damn bad for me? How could you be so damn bad for me when you feel so? I'm sorry I woke you, babe. Where are you going, darling? I'm sorry I woke you, love. Don't you go, don't you go. I couldn't take the noise. What you know about it? I couldn't help but run. Don't you go, don't you go, don't you go. I'd feel better if you don't. And I'd say that I'd call you, but we both know that I won't. And I'll always love you, but it's better if I don't.
All right, so that was Damn Girl, the title track off of the EP, which, again, you can get on iTunes, and I highly recommend you going to check that out because, again, it's pretty awesome. So I want to talk, we were talking a little bit about the creative process, but what is there a concept behind the whole album in its entirety, or is each song kind of like its own individual thing?
Songs a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we actually went in with 8 songs, and we paired it down just based on what kind of fit. And yeah, I mean, definitely, we almost called it songs about some girls we know. I mean, there were a lot of songs about girls. Some of them are about specific girls. Some of them are, I guess, compositions of a couple of different girls.
Right.
But no, I mean, we're never really trying to write for a specific style. Which is something we're kind of conscious of. It hurts us when people ask us things like, what type of music do you play? I know it does. Because we don't know what to say.
No one ever likes that question either.
But I mean, I grew up on the Beatles, hardcore. I grew up on pop music, which we always have the funny thing of, pop music just means popular. That's what it means.
Right.
In the 50s and the 60s, there wasn't this kind of division between what is pop music and what is considered to be critically acceptable.
Yeah,
I guess somewhere along the way, I guess in the 90s, in the Britney Spears boy band boom,
right,
it became that division.
Yes,
of like, all right, here's good music and here's pop music, and they rarely overlap.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah, I think people ask us the question, what's your music sound like? We just kept coming back. It's like, well, it's pop music.
Right.
And I feel like in the back of our heads, we almost want to reclaim it. It's like, no, pop music is about writing a good song.
Yeah.
And having a good sound behind it.
And you can also try to say something with it.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard, because at the end of the day, that's what we like to write is pop. But when you say that, oh, we're pop, they're like,
people are thinking like Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears.
You just get that kind of, oh, okay.
We're working on our choreography.
Yeah.
That would be actually really funny too. Like if you did like a Britney song.
Backstreet's back.
Oh, you guys have practiced this. Yes. I see.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
So let's talk about Damn Girl. What's that song about particularly? That was the one that we just played.
Damn Girl. Damn Girl is about, I guess it's about when you're with a girl that you're just so into that it gets really hot and heavy really quickly.
Yep.
And then you kind of hit that moment where you realize she's not the person that you...
Yeah, that's like every relationship before 22. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, being in love with the idea of someone or the fantasy of someone, and then realizing that reality does not mesh with that.
Yes. And what about Change, the song that we played previously? What was that about?
Oh, I love when we were writing this song because the original idea for that was, I remember us talking about this, and you're like, I have this idea of like a girl where she's interested in all of these big things, like changing, like getting rid of poverty and getting rid of hunger. And I just want her to care about me as much as that. And I was like, Brian, you can't write a song about how somebody has all of these great things and they should just care about me. So that's where we...
Listen, this is so great. Have you seen the character skit on Saturday Night Live, the girl who you don't want to run into at a party?
No.
Have you seen this? If you get a chance, you have to go home. You have to look it up on YouTube. I forget the actress who does it, but she's basically like, it's in a cocktail dress, right? And she's talking on the news desk, and she is talking about all this stuff, like we need to end the war in Uganda because the
Ugandans,
because the Ugandans really need food. Like this is how she's talking. It's the funniest thing ever, but that's immediately what I thought of, because there are people out there that really want to make big changes. They don't quite understand what they are, though.
Well, I mean, the song, what it became was, just about someone that can't be happy with what they have.
Yeah.
Always looking for the next big thing or the next big change and not appreciating what's right in front of your face.
So are these based on real life experiences?
Yeah, for the most part.
Again,
some of them are very specific.
Right.
About specific, like the entire song is about one person. Some of them are just more experiences or stories.
You do all the lyrics?
Yeah.
So going forward now, kind of, do you see what the next, progression of Montgomery Streets is going to be? Do you have an idea where you'd like to head next with it?
I mean, we're gonna go more towards a full band more often. That's definitely part of the plan.
Yep.
We've been playing with Jack a lot recently, and we're definitely looking to add a drummer that's a little bit more permanent. And then eventually, getting into the studio, hopefully before the end of the year, if we can. We have we've been writing a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of songs.
4 or 5 songs in the works right now.
Are you playing anything new out yet?
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
are
we always
just
play
kind
the
of
new
experimenting and.
Yeah, we've got a song called "Oh Betty" right now that we've been working through. It's a very fast song, and I haven't quite figured out where I breathe in it yet.
It's kind of important.
Yeah. So
Dante yells at me for breathing.
For breathing?
Yeah.
Stop
in
breathing.
the microphone, and I'm like, "What am I supposed to do?"
Breathe away.
Yeah, breathe away. I don't really know what to do with that. So you need to figure out where to breathe. That's kind of important.
But I also feel like that affects the songwriting where, when we're writing songs right now, we have to keep in mind that, we still play duo shows, we still play with Jack. And
right.
so, with a full band, I can assume that there's going to be a drummer there keeping rhythm, and I can step out and play guitar in a different way.
Yep.
I can assume that we can add these musical kind of sections outside of vocals. And so, a lot of our original songwriting is there's only 2 of us. There's a guitar, there's two vocals and a harmonica. And how can we create a lot of dynamic range within a song with only that,
right.
know?
When you went into the studio for this album, who else did you have in the studio with you to do the recording?
Well, our producer, Chris Cubetta, he has a band, Chris Cubetta and the Liars Club.
Okay.
Really great. He has a studio in Williamsburg, Aluminum Foil. And he produced the album. He also played electric on a number of the songs and keys on a couple of the songs.
Okay.
And then Anthony actually played guitar and bass.
Okay.
Throughout the whole album. And then a friend of ours, Spencer Cohen, came in to do the drum track.
Very cool.
Yeah. But it's just the 4 of us. The album is just the 4 of us, including all the backing vocals.
So I really would like to talk a little bit, too, just about Brooklyn in general. And you're from...
I'm from Long Island.
From Long Island. Okay. But you all live in Brooklyn now? Is that...
I live in actually Astoria. I work in Brooklyn.
And I live in Brooklyn.
And you
we
live
both work in Brooklyn. I mean, we work in Williamsburg, East Williamsburg, Bushwick.
Which is, I haven't been to Williamsburg in a while, but it's like the area to be, right? I mean, that's what the creative center of Brooklyn is right now. Is that fair to say?
It's in a weird way, it's almost moving away from Williamsburg, too, because Williamsburg's gotten very touristy.
Okay.
So East Williamsburg, Bushwick has started to...
And even
the neighboring,
Bed-Stuy. But when we were in college, it's like, don't go to Bed-Stuy.
Yeah, I even heard that.
Yeah, and now it's like, you want an affordable apartment, go live in Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy, really? Interesting. Yeah. So how do you feel kind of that community influenced you and what you were doing? Did it have any influence kind of living in Brooklyn and being around what was happening? Because I guess, what was it, the last 5 years is when Williamsburg was really starting to be like this hub? Like this?
I would go back as far as 10 years.
10 years?
Really? Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, it's interesting to see kind of the cultural epicenter of New York City move from. I mean, when we were in school, the Lower East Side was really where
Lower East Side, the East Village,
where all the young people were going to live after school, and where all the art was happening, and that has moved out kind of into Brooklyn. So that's interesting, just to see where. I mean, there's so many great venues and spots, and
that was going to be my next question. Is the community supporting artists? Like, are they giving you places to play? Are there festivals? Are there things happening? And that kind.
I mean, the Northside Festival was just this past weekend.
Yeah,
that's been going 4 years now in Williamsburg. That's all the venues in the area. Just try to team up, and
that's very cool.
They have a couple big shows in the park.
Yeah. Who played this year? Bastille and
Churches.
Oh, wow.
War on Drugs, right? Yeah.
That's some big names.
Yeah, they were the big shows in the park, and we played over at Pete's Candy Store, which is one of the venues near the park.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of, I mean, and there's great places everywhere. There's great places in Queens. There was a place called the Waltz Astoria Cafe that we used to play often. It has since closed down. They're looking for another location. But that was a really good open mic that we played. Just good community of people, supportive artists. The artists support each other a lot, which is nice.
Do you believe that there is a New York sound?
I think there's definitely a sound in Brooklyn. I mean, Williamsburg has gotten gigantic in the DJ scene, which always blew my mind because when I've been in Williamsburg for like 5 years now, and I always just thought of it as just, rock music and like really dirty, grungy sort of, that kind of sound, like almost like the Killers type of sound, like just a really
Yeah, but it's very diverse though. I mean, there's so many different clubs that have different sounds. I mean, you can really find pretty much whatever you're looking for.
I mean, they say, I feel like when people talk about Philly specifically, there is kind of this Philadelphia vibe about certain bands that are from this area that we're very easy to pick out what the Philly bands are. At least that's what I've been told. And Dante and I were having a conversation earlier about it. The thing in Philly and what most people say is that you can't break here. There's no artist that break in Philadelphia.
Actually, we were listening on the way. We were hearing you talk about that. Yeah,
which I don't necessarily agree with, but I get why people would think that because Philadelphia is rooted itself in musical history. I mean, there's no question. DJs started. You know, a lot of them started here. Like we had a lot of the great DJs from this city. Motown back in the day was instrumental. You know, we have a lot of people from this city who have done a lot of great things. But you know, we were saying in New York, you can break. Like you can make your way through New York and become a famous artist without having to leave that area.
But again, you never know. I mean, we were talking about the Killers before. The Killers were a Las Vegas band that got signed to a UK record label. I remember when the Killers came over and Hot Fuss started blowing up. Everyone thought they were a UK band. In the beginning, everyone thought they were a UK band.
Yeah,
and they were a band, from Las Vegas. So you never know where you're going to break. I mean, we love coming to Philly. We've had a really great reception. Very interactive fan base. They're really supportive.
I feel like people are willing to go out to like a venue just to go out and be like, I'm going to go here and drink and whatever's kind of playing.
We do love to drink in Philly. This is true. Do you know about the South Street Taco? Have you experienced this yet?
South Street Taco.
Yeah, because you're going to be playing at Lickety Split, which is in the heart of the South Street area. There's a thing called the South Street Taco where you get a Jim's cheesesteak.
And you wrap it in a slice of pizza.
You wrap it in a slice of pizza and you eat it up.
We've done that. Lickety Split is literally right across the street from Jim's.
Right.
And Lickety Split is, so you get the pizza from Lickety Split then, I guess.
No. You get it from Lorenzo's.
Okay.
Lorenzo's has the big floppy slices down the street.
You could tile a house with them.
Exactly. And I still believe Jim's is the best cheesesteak.
Jim's there's all this Pats and Geno's.
That's what he always says.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
It's Jim's.
Yes.
It's Jim's.
I'm so glad that you know that. You have no idea.
Dante's shaking his head. Was in a liquor store.
Dante just said the best cheesesteak he ever had was at a liquor store.
You know what? It's so weird though because you can't get. It's hard. You can't get a good cheesesteak in New York.
Yeah, if the word cheesesteak has the word Philadelphia before it, it's not a cheesesteak.
And we can't get a good bagel, so it's okay.
But see, with the bagels, it's the water. It's very clear.
Yeah,
you don't have New York water. You can't make New York bagels.
Yeah,
I get
true.
that. What is it about a Philly cheesesteak that is inherent to Philadelphia that no one else can figure it out?
The roll.
Is it the roll?
It's the roll. It's the Amoroso roll.
Okay.
That is part of it. It is.
But it's the steak. But even the steak too. A lot of them can't get the steak right either. It's too thick. It's just like chunks of steak, and it's like they all call it a Philly cheesesteak.
But it's not. And you got to use the real Cheese Whiz,
okay.
like the real yellow
provolone.
Which we can't say that.
We're not supposed to talk about the provolone.
No, we don't talk about the provolone.
I also refuse to do like the ordering, like
Whiz
the soup Nazi, or it's like, no, I'm going to order a cheesesteak with
Whiz with, whiz without. You got to make it simple. You can't that's it. That's all you got to say. But I have not actually tried the South Street Taco yet because I think I might actually die if I did. But I hear that it's really delicious and you have to do it. There was a band. They're going to kill me. I forget who it is. But they invented like this little game to hit all the spots on South Street. And we have something called here in Philadelphia the White Trash Special. Okay. Do you know about this?
We do not. Learning so many things.
I know. You're learning a lot
the
of stuff.
cultural center of our country.
Right. I'm very educational. Right. It is a PBR beer and a shot of Jim Beam, and it's usually on specials at every bar for like $3 or $4. And it is called the White Trash Special, and you just drink it's a can of PBR and your shot of Jim Beam, and it's delicious. So the South Street Tour involves the White Trash Special and the South Street Taco, and it mixes all of them together.
Well, that was it was great about the South Street Spring Festivals. There was, I guess you guys had an open container policy for the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
$2 Yinglings, just buying them in the bar and walking right out to the street with them.
Do you know about Yingling up in Brooklyn? Is it there in Brooklyn?
It's definitely there.
It's around. It's not as prominent.
No, there's definitely a Yingling following in New York.
I mean, I love Yingling. I think it's great. I mean, I think
it's what got me through college.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I just think it's nuts. You walk into a store and you got Bud, Miller, Coors, and Yingling.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
All priced at the same thing. I don't understand how there's a decision to be made there.
Yeah, there is. Well, shockingly, people are faced with that choice and are confused by it, but I don't understand it myself. I mean, I really enjoy a good Yingling once in a while. All right, I want to get into one more song. So what would be a good one to play now?
I do The One Who Got Away.
The One Who Got Away? All right, let's go ahead and play that. Don't forget, we are talking to Montgomery Streets. Head on over to their website, Montgomery Streets Music?
MontgomeryStreets.com.
MontgomeryStreets.com. And find them on iTunes. Buy the album Damn Girl. You're not going to regret it, I promise you. We're going to listen to this song.
Damn Girl.
This song, The One Who Got Away. We'll be back in just a minute.
I said some things I wish I could take back, and not because they weren't true, but more for lack of tact. Everyone's got that someone they can turn to and say, it was you, my dear, the one who got away. What's that called when you're busy making plans? My head, it tries to rationalize, my heart still makes demands. Everyone's got that someone they can turn to and say, it was you, my dear, the one who got away. Just for tonight, we can be you and me before the bad times. Just for tonight. I did some things I wish I hadn't done, and not because of who I was, but who I have become. Everyone's got that someone they can turn to and say, it was you, my dear, the one who got away. What's that word? I'm told it's all you need. With him you seem much happier, with her I'm incomplete. Everyone's got that someone they can turn to and say, it was you, my dear, the one who got away.
Okay, we're back. That was The One Who Got Away. So I promised these guys that I was going to ask them the question of the night tonight, which was, what is your favorite karaoke song? But we kind of expanded it a bit and said, if it's not just your favorite karaoke song, like that one you'll sing along to, or the one that you're singing in the shower, or that one that everybody's done, like pretended they were a rock star in their bedroom at one point in their life, that song, what is it?
I feel like for me, it's pretty classic ones like Joy to the World or Build Me Up Buttercup. Like that's just
Don't Stop Believing, Journey.
Yeah.
Come on, you're in a bar, you're hammered. Don't stop.
Yeah, that's the one.
That is a good one. That and Teenage Wasteland, I feel like, are two, like the bar, like everybody gets into it. Jim Cunningham, who's right now in our chat room. Hi, Jim, said, these guys sound great. Just liked their page. I'll be looking into them some more for sure.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Yeah, Jim, I think maybe potentially book some shows in Philadelphia as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
And he has impeccable taste in music, apparently.
He does have impeccable taste in music. Right. So shout out to Dustin and Vibrating Bob Cook birthday. I love the names that come up in the chat room. And I feel like we just don't have enough gifts. And usually every night when we do the radio show, the chat room is inundated by people posting GIF pictures.
Okay.
And we don't have a ton of them tonight because I don't see 420 Watch in the chat room, and he's usually the one that is instrumental in doing that.
Okay.
He must be doing something else. But I want to thank everybody who's been listening tonight, of course, for all those folks in the chat room, because it is great to have you here. Montgomery Streets, again, is their name. You could get their album right now on iTunes, and they're going to be playing in Philly. Let's recap some show dates.
Absolutely. Well, we're in Seaside tonight at 11 o'clock at the Aztec. We're in Philly next week, the 27th, Friday at Finnegan's Wake at 8 p.m. I mean, we have about 15 shows already booked this summer. We're playing in Jersey and Massachusetts and Connecticut. So yeah, if you go to montgomerystreets.com and click on the schedule, you can see all the
what's at that page?
All the schedules.
all the
cool
schedules.
spots.
You have a great schedule, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I'll tell you why I like it. It's because it has a tab for local shows only, right? So if
that is Bands in Town.
Bands
do you,
in
you know
Town
Bands in Town?
I do. That's
yeah,
what you do.
I love Bands in Town.
It's a really great calendar system. I was checking it out today. Jim's corrected me. He books 8 rooms in Philly, 8 venues, 8 spots.
8 of them. Okay.
Yeah, 8 of them. He's a good person to know. We actually, Exponent is going to be doing a show with him on July 12th. Everybody's going to head out to the Dockside Summer Music Festival that's going to be happening near Dave & Buster's, which will be very cool. Don't forget, Liberty Music Fest is happening from August 20th to the 24th. That's going to be at Finnegan's Wake, all 4 floors this year. And it's 4 days. Mentoring sessions, panel evaluations are happening, broadcasting live, all sorts of interesting, crazy, wonderful things are going to be happening there. And then I just want to mention, too, that it was really exciting stuff in the beginning of July at the Grape Room. This is going to be July 9th. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Grape Room for a networking event that features the Great Socio and Pasadena, which is a band that I mentioned from Maryland. And Love Betty and a whole bunch of other people are going to be performing that night, so I'm really looking forward to that. And that's it. That's all my stuff. Who do we have on the show next week, Dante? We have Stealing Fame. Stealing Fame. I can't wait to have them back on. I'm very excited. They have a big album release. They'll be here next week, 7 o'clock again, same time. I want to thank you both for driving down from Brooklyn.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having us.
Are you going for cheesesteaks tonight before you head to the Aztec?
We have time.
We might actually. That might be a great idea. We were going to do a Wawa stop.
Oh my God, cheesesteak's so much better than Wawa.
True.
No
Although we don't have
Wawa.
we don't have Wawa in New York though, so
You
there is
don't?
a novelty to.
Do you have
the
like a
Wawa stop.
Sheetz or anything up there? No, you guys
I
don't,
don't know what
do
you're
you?
talking about.
You don't even know
I
what
don't
I mean.
understand half the words you just said.
I know. You just have like Dunkin' Donuts on every corner, I feel like.
We
in
do.
New
We
York,
have a lot of Dunkin' Donuts.
right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
all we
That's
have
all
in New
you
York.
have is
I'm so full of donuts right now.
you're like over it. That's all I feel like there is when I'm up in New York driving around. Like if you know, when we're driving up there and we need to make a quick pit stop, I figure it's gas station or Dunkin' Donuts. That's all like I can ever find.
Yep.
And like the occasional random White Castle that's still floating around in New
We do
York,
have some White Castles.
which I've never even eaten before in my life.
man.
But I see them all the time, and I'm like, there's.
I feel like White Castles is always a mistake.
Is it? It's one of those things.
I always want to go there, and then afterwards,
it's like the best 2 minutes of your life and the worst 3 hours of your life.
Afterwards, yeah, no, I totally understand. That's what happens to me after a few white trash specials.
White trash specials.
It's such a great idea at the time. Like, it's cheap.
There may be a South Street taco in our future.
Ooh.
Oh, you should definitely YouTube it. I try.
we might never make it to Seaside tonight.
You have so many awesome
we
and
were on
delicious.
the way, but then the South Street taco happened.
Right. You would make for a really good performance tonight. I'm just saying. I think it would make for a great performance. Thank you again for coming. Dante, thank you. We'll see everybody here next Wednesday. We're going to leave with a little music. We only have a minute left, but everybody have a great week, and we'll be back next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
It's been a while since I always be chasing you, baby. I'll do it till the bitter end. Yeah, I will. 'Cause I'm bound by your will to bleed ya, and bound by my lack of one to need ya. Mary, don't leave. Mary, Mary, don't leave. It's been a while since I've done this on my own. I like having you there, safe, tucked in my back pocket, just in case I